Let's talk about investing basics and starting before it's too late.
How much did we lose today?
$1 billion.
Time isn't always money, but time equals money. That's the equation that people call compound interest. It's the eighth wonder of the world. It's the true value of money, not just that a dollar is worth a dollar, but that a dollar over time will be worth more than a dollar. Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world.
But growth in the economy and was not an obstacle to what is
Armed with Vern's last $800, I made $2,000 in a day. Next day, $7,500. It was too slow.
Here's the example. $10,000 lump sum investment with a 5% rate of return, left alone over the next 30 years, will be worth $40,000. Your $10,000 will be forexed into $40,000. That's compound interest. And here's the kicker. There are only two kinds of people in the world when it comes to money. Yep, there are those who earn compound interest, and there are those who pay others compound interest. So let's get on the right side of that equation so we can get paid rather than simply giving away our money to others. Hi, I'm James Callahan, and this is the Do-Over Show. And if you're anything like me, you've been stuck at that time in life when you say, I blew it. Oh my gosh, I gave it up. I gave it away. I spent it. I sacrificed it. It's too late. I've run out of time. I've given away the one thing in the time equals money component of compound interest. I've given away my time. Well, I'm here to help you discover what I've discovered after failing and having to start over again a couple times in my own do-over. I'm here to find a way out. If you've dug yourself into a hole, first rule, if you realize you're in a hole, stop digging. That means stop doing the same thing you've been doing that got you in the hole in the first place. So stop digging. But then, how do you get out of the hole? That's what I'm here to show you. And the answer is time equals money, compound interest. Let's start with the rule of 72. And this has to do with how long will it take for me to double my investment? Now, what you do is you take the current rate of interest. Let's use as an example just 5%. Historically low, a lot lower than average markets, but we'll start modest so that we don't overinflate this. Let's start at 5%. Well, you divide that by 72, and it says that in 14 years, your $10,000 invested, for example, with compound interest, will be worth $20,000. That is, you will double your money. It will take 14 years and 5 months to do that. Now, let's get something straight. There's a difference between simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is the money you make on the principal you invest. So if you put in $10,000 and you get a 5% rate of return, that's $500. That's simple interest. But if you take that $500 out, you spend it, you pay bills with it, you do whatever with it, and you start the next year with $10,000 again, then you're just earning interest on your principal, and that's simple interest. Compound interest is when you take your money, $10,000, you earn your 5%, so now you've got $10,500, and you leave it alone. You let interest compound, not just on the principal, but on the interest that you've earned in the previous period of time, in the previous year. So now you're earning in the second year interest on $10,500 rather than just $10,000. That's compound interest. And that's how, if you just put $10,000 away at 5% return annually, and you just let it sit there, it will compound into, in 14 years and 5 months, it will compound into 2x, $20,000. That's how compound interest works. It's that simple. Okay, if you're new to investing, or if you've never had money to invest, or you've spent all the money, extra money you had on things like, food, shelter, water, light, the kind of things most people need to live. Let's say you've never been in that situation. And you're not really sure how to get started, so you've avoided learning the basics because they only made you sad as you watched other people make money and you didn't have money to make money on that. So compound interest wasn't even in your orbit. You weren't even thinking about it. I've been there. I've not just spent my extra money getting guac on my burrito bowl at Chipotle. I know who you are. but I've sometimes not had the money to be there. Raising a family, 5 kids, difficulties in move, changing jobs, relocating, academic ups and downs. Yes, I've been through it all. You probably have too. So there are those times when we haven't gotten into it, or we've given up on a time, the one component that can really help us increase our initial investment. So what are we supposed to do? Well, there are ways to accelerate compound interest, even if you didn't start when you were 18 or 20 or 22 years old, like some of those examples. If you just put away $100 a month, if you're 20 years old, every month for the rest of your life, you'd be a millionaire and be able to retire and have your yacht. It doesn't always work out that way, because real life, it's not that easy for most of us. So here's how to accelerate the 8th wonder of the world, compound interest, and make it work for you. So let's turn that rule of 72 into something that we can speed up a bit. So regular additions to your investment account, not your savings account at the bank, but a brokerage account that you actually invest and actually buy securities with, that investment account back to the $10,000 initial investment. If you add $100 a month to that same $10,000 initial investment, in that same 14 years, instead of just doubling your money in the rule of 72, in 14 years, you will not have $20,000, but you'll have $44,368. That's $26,800 of principal that you've invested and $17,568 of interest. That is, you've received over $17,000 of free money, and that free money is what we call compound interest, if you leave it alone. Don't touch it. No, don't touch it. Oh, and be sure, like I said, you actually have to buy something. There is this phenomena, and no one really knows how much money is out there, of uninvested income. That is, people open up a retirement account or a brokerage account and they put money in there and it just sits there making minimal interest, sometimes less than 1%, while the market is increasing 8, 12, 28% in 2024. Nobody really knows how much in the market is actually uninvested income, but it sits there and other people benefit from it, your brokerage or your bank, but not you. And you're sacrificing even more time. You think, oh, I put my money in a brokerage account. You actually have to buy something. You have to figure out what you're going to buy. A company that you know, trust for upside, an exchange traded fund that tracks the market itself, one of the most popular ways. Its acronym is ETF, exchange traded fund. Or maybe a mutual fund, hopefully no load or low fee, and you will just put your money there and you will let it work for you, let it compound to your benefit. Okay, now you say, wait a minute, I want to do my own figuring. I have less money or I have more money. How much would I have? What could it be? What are my scenarios? Well, there's an easy compound interest calculator that's available for free in NerdWallet. I'll leave a link to it down in the description. They're not a sponsor, not paid. It's just a free tool, and it's great. You can plug in different numbers, lower, higher, figure out what you're able to do. But I suggest you do play with it, because when you put in maybe a little bit more, maybe stretch, maybe you say, I can put in more than that. I wonder what my return will be. It will actually show you what your return will be on an average investment. You can be conservative and put it down at 5%. You can be market average and put it at 8 to 10%. You can be really aggressive and say, I'm going to be the world's best investor and put it at 15%. Whatever dream you want to live in, whatever you want to do, you can plug in the numbers, hit calculate, and it will tell you what your next 5, 10, 20, 30 years can look like with compound interest. Another way to accelerate the rule of 72 and compound interest is to reinvest the dividend income you would receive from dividend paying stocks. Okay, there are 2 types of basic securities. One, they're dividend stocks, and then they're growth stocks. Now, growth stocks increase in price, or supposed to, or plan to increase in price, and the value of the stock will go from $10 to $15 to $20, for example. And that will be your benefit for buying that, investing in that, and so it will grow in value. Now, the other stock is dividend stocks, and that is companies that they take their profits each year and they give them to the shareholders, to you if you buy them, as a dividend, usually quarterly, sometimes monthly. And now the question is, what do you do with that money? Now, part of the compound interest that using it to accelerate it is that you can use a program called DRIP, and every brokerage, every online brokerage has this. It's an easy set it and forget it thing. You don't have to track when's the dividend paid, when's the X date, how am I going to get this money, what should I do with the money. You can decide up front you're going to dividend reinvest it. It's called DRIP, Dividend Reinvestment Program. You just check a box. You can do all of them, all qualifying dividend paying stocks. And every time it's paid out, you don't have to think, oh, I have to do something with that money. Your broker, your brokerage will take it and buy, if you get $80, it will buy $80 worth of the same stock that paid the dividend. So your position in the dividend paying stock will continue to grow, and you will continue to receive a dividend according to how much of that stock, dividend paying stock, you own. And that's another way of accelerating this rule of 72, this compound interest, it's not too late for me realization that I can have a do-over when it comes to my money, and I can accelerate my investments through compound interest. And thanks for being part of the Do-Over Show. Please, while you're investing and you're looking for a great stock or an investment or an ETF to put your money into, how about you subscribe and invest in this channel, because it really helps. And while you're down there subscribing and making the world a better place, how about you hit the like button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. I'm so glad you found me and I found you. Thanks.